Hi there, good afternoon, and good evening or good morning for all of you who are connecting with us today. This is another Live with Ghalia edition, and we're going to talk about luxury brand management. We decided with Dr. Meng to take the time to discuss about luxury and luxury brand management, looking at two axes. First of all, why luxury is important. Why do we study luxury? Why do we study luxury management, etc. on one hand, and on the other hand, how do these master's programs specializing in luxury management differ? What are the values of each program and why they are different from one university to the other. So we're going to take the time to discuss all of these details, but I'm going to be inviting Dr. Meng in to do an introduction. She is connecting from the UK and I'm in France. So connecting, I believe, in a few seconds. Hello.
Hello, hello.
How
Can you?
are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Hello, everyone. Uh,
Thank you for joining me tonight.
oh, I'm so bad. I have to apologize to all Instagram users because this is the first time I'm having a conversation in this way on this platform. So I hope can you see me and hear me? Okay. I hope this is okay. Great.
And normally, if there's a glitch, people will be commenting. But it's a beautiful and simple platform, and I'm
Yeah.
happy you have your debut with me. And I hope that the experience is going to be
Yeah.
positive.
Great.
So I'm going to leave the floor to you just to tell us who you are and how you came across the position that you're holding today.
Okay. Um. Hello, everyone. My name is Kelly, and usually on the professional platform, I use my own surname, Meng, which is a Chinese surname, and I'm currently holding the position as the program convener and lecturer for the MA program in luxury brand management at Goldsmiths University of London.
And coming across from China to London, I believe there was like a long story. But how did you come across luxury?
Right, right. It's a long story, but I will put it in a simple way, which one word, which you probably would agree with me, is a serendipity, I would say.
Yeah,
Indeed, I first came to UK as an international student in 2006, which is
a
15
long
years
time
ago.
ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. Don't want to think about it. But anyway, I did my master after 1 year working in China in the retailing industry, and it's sort of that gave me the opportunity to have a flavor, first taste of luxury brands, because back in 2005 and 6 there was very little luxury brand present in the market. But I had the opportunity. So when I came to the UK, study business, and I wanted to continue that research. That's why I dedicate my dissertation in luxury Chinese luxury product market. Although hardly any tutor would like to supervise me on that subject, and so that was my first kind of experience in academic for this type of subject. Now, obviously, I had the intention to continue my PhD in the same subject during the year of 2007, 2008, but I applied to so many universities in the UK and I got straight rejections from all universities, and I was frustrated and was young, I was ambitious, and I just thought, why? But now, actually, the other day, I went back to all my rejection letters, even my proposals, and I could work out. I mean, bad timing. That was a financial crisis. That was, obviously my proposal was about China luxury. However, I probably didn't make full sense of it in my proposal. Anyway, so unfortunately, I had to put that passion on the side. I went to South Africa, where I suddenly realized my perception towards luxury immediately elevated into a different level. It's a country really re-educate me about luxury in a different dimension. And I mean, afterwards, and I mean, you can see probably from my LinkedIn, I worked and lived and studied it, in different countries and market. But fortunately, I always had this, luck and opportunity to work around with brands, luxury brands, and involving in different business, functions.
Context.
Yes. And then, I mean, there was a doubt then asking myself, well, why I'm doing this. But then until 4 years ago, 2007, exactly it's July, when this job came into, on my table, I suddenly say that all makes sense, because all these years I've been doing learning, study, and evolving. It makes sense. It enabled me to be able to deliver all this knowledge and share all this experience with my fellow students. So hopefully that's not too long story. That lead me into today's conversation.
On the contrary, and it leads me actually to a question, and I was thinking about it, and of course it makes sense now. Going from country to country, like crossing these boundaries or barriers, we would find that luxury might mean different things to different people or cultures, and the adoption of luxury brands or items would also have a different perception and value. So all of these travels between your homeland, Europe, and Africa, you have seen like major differences in luxury. However, the term is unified, right? So what are the specifics of luxury in different countries as you read it?
I think there are two layers of explanation of that. First of all, I think we separate luxury and luxury business. And that's one of my LinkedIn business contacts, Sebastian, who is also academic and practitioner, always mention that. Because luxury is, the concept itself is very abstract. Different people, different opinions. But when it's coming to luxury branded products or experience or service, and that's really required a luxury professional to deliver within the cultural context. I would say contextualization is something really important for luxury business operate in a foreign land. I mean, foreign is in terms of a European brand, for instance. So yes, when I, even during different period of time, when I in my early 20s, my dream was accumulate 6 months of a salary to buy a pair of Jimmy Choo shoes. Yes, and that was very difficult to reach, and I didn't know why the shoes are so expensive, but it just felt so important for me at that period of time in China. But now, living in Europe, dealing with luxury brand all the time, and you still appreciate, I still appreciate a pair of luxury, Jimmy Choo shoes. But my understanding, my contact towards that shoes will be completely different. And the way that I consume the shoes will be different. So, Jimmy Choo probably went to China in more than 10 years ago, but their operation, their strategies probably will be completely different now in the Chinese market. So cultural contextualization is very important for luxury brand to enter or operate in a foreign land.
Right. It's very interesting the way you put it, because I mean, it will like draw the line narrower to what we want to talk about this evening. Most of the times, many students aim at visiting Europe to study on one hand and to experience the retail world and specifically the luxury retail world, right? But all of these students at some point will have to go back home, and very few remain in Europe if they have the chance to.
Mm.
Today, most of the European universities, we're going to be sticking to Europe tonight. Most of these universities are providing lots of programs related to teaching specifically luxury management or luxury brand management. So are these programs taking into consideration that most of their audiences or students are not going to be working in Europe? And does it put in question somehow the quality or the nature of the modules, that they are providing to these students? What's the added value today in terms of program, and how will it help students when they go back home?
Right. First of all, I would love to think the way that all international universities, whether they're European university or in America, they would all have a mindset that to welcome and to nurture international students. So this is international mindset for all universities probably will be very important, especially now we're in a global kind of environment. But I have to say that 15 years ago, if I knew, I mean, I always knew France offer luxury type of luxury subject related study. But I think during the time I first in contact with such areas, it was taught, well, even the books was written in French. And I hated myself that I didn't learn French as second foreign language. But I think now I would say, as I can only say from my own knowledge, that I know a lot of the European universities who offer such subject would all welcome international students and try to bring a layer of international contact for the students, and with the hope that when they're going back to their homeland, they can utilize the knowledge and adapt to their local environment.
Right.
So I would love to think that way, and I know there are many universities doing that. In terms, sorry, I think I'll probably forget the second. Is that how students will really react towards the learning?
Yeah, I mean, so today, like lots of students would be taking back this baggage that they have learned and earned throughout their year. Normally, it's a year or a year and a half. And I was like simply asking if they could make sense of all of that, maybe European mindset that would be prevailing, and apply it back home, either in China, India, or Africa, because most of the students who come to Europe to learn these skills or ideas would hope to go back and apply them in a way or another. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right. I think, I mean, I never taught in France or Italy, so I can only say from the UK's perspective. I think in the UK, the education environment always encourages students to be critical, to think outside, rather than just take what the books given to you, what the lecture given to you. You have to think individually, reflect individually. And I think in that sense, that could be challenging for many international students, first of all, because a lot of that, I mean, including myself, many educational system is sort of a spoon-fed type of a system. So you are given the knowledge, you take it, you remember it. But when they first came to UK, they have to learn first, adjust into, okay, not everything I was told is stated
applicable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the first already challenged them. Then I think currently in the UK higher education environment, we also try to encourage the a more internationalized the curriculum, not only all Europe-centric, and of course, depending on the subject, we try to, at least from our program, we try to bring the international view into the discussion. So students would have opportunity to actually bring their local issues into the discussion, and then using the opportunity that to probably raise a question, solve the problem, or reflect on something that they've been thinking about all the time.
Right.
The whole, I mean, this type of skills and mindset, it's very important for these international students. When they leave UK and go back to their own home country, they will be able to use this type of mindset rather than directly just to shift the knowledge from one place to the other, but
Right.
actually the way of processing knowledge and processing information and apply these useful knowledge and informations.
Okay. Thank you. And so now you are currently holding or heading the luxury brand management program at Goldsmith. Why is that program or how is that program tailored? And what does it take into consideration in terms of offerings? I mean, are there specific axes that you teach to students? Are there specific ways, like starting from learning and then application and then criticism that you follow? Or does this program, or was it conceived to be like done in a different way than other programs on the market?
I mean, teaching luxury brand, we always also try to tell students, you need to identify your brand's unique selling point. So at one stage, I actually came up a unique selling point for my
program.
I think there are probably at least 3 points. First of all, I mean, I come from a multidisciplinary background. So my PhD was trained in international business and international political economy. So after working in this industry for more than a decade, I actually, when I start to convening the program, I think it's difficult to define luxury program as one singular or sole disciplinary subject. It's not. It's a multidisciplinary subject. It involves so much input from other disciplinary knowledge. So that's why I always say to my student and also prospective student that I open my door to students from all walks of life. You can come from any disciplinary. Then you need to prepare that, bring your disciplinary into luxury studies. Because everyone has a niche interest towards luxury. Everyone has a disciplinary strength, and that's where your advantage to bring and to be who you are learning the luxury. You will be unique in this
right. So as if we are contextualizing our mindset into that of luxury to make more value or make more sense of the material of the program.
Indeed.
Okay. And do students understand this, Kelly? Do they come really with that mindset, and are they able to apply it? Because sometimes things are said, but far from being done.
Okay. And I think also saw a question that who are the target audience of such program. I think because I really welcome everyone into, not everyone, but I don't put a
barrier.
Barrier for students. So typically, I think if you, first of all, you need to really passionate and see yourself to be to work or to study or to be in this industry. That's very important, because without passion and love, it's very hard. It can be very hard to work in a luxury. Right. And secondly, I think I do think that a lot of in the past, without, before such a program exists in the UK, a lot of the luxury companies would recruit luxury professionals through years of experience. So I think this would give us professional or younger professionals who are not in the luxury industry an opportunity to get the actual layer of knowledge in the industry, and so they can cross the threshold to enter the luxury industry. But also, because we are entrepreneurial type of department, so I have so many students and from all over the world who study design or who had this business idea, want to create their own luxury brands. And these are, I would say, our program actually gives them a lot of useful tools, knowledge, and experience that so they can take away to create their own brands, become their own brand owner. And last, of course, that's partly because my own experience. I would say, if you really see yourself as a future academic dedicated into luxury research, I think this program would give the student really good academic, I wouldn't say training, but academic environment for the further academic pursuit. So, and I have students who are now doing PhD on luxury tourism and consumerism. So I think these are the target or audience of people who would like to join our program. But again, at Goldsmiths, because we are an environment, we probably have already have that reputation being a really open, liberal art school, and always challenge status quo, being very creative. And most important, we have such a wide range of modules, and that's allowed us to bring this multidisciplinary taste to our program. So that's why I think the Goldsmiths has the advantage being in this very already competitive market. This is very business talking. So this is what I would put into that way.
Okay, and it's very interesting because as you put it, and directly we would say that luxury, studying luxury is something of a restricted area. But here you are, as you said, training people or giving them the chance to set foot in this industry. And if they have the qualities to do so, and if they process it in the correct way, they would have the chance to develop and evolve either professionally, either academically. And we're saying that academically, which is really important, that the university doesn't just train people to be professionally professional. It's more of giving them even the reflection through academic baggage to help them make the most of their studies, yet have a lot of valuable information to strive on, which is really important because maybe some other universities focus just on the executive and professional aspect of retail. So we talked a little bit about like these multidisciplinary areas. Would you like to highlight some names of these areas, or would this be a delicate topic?
Sure. I mean, I'd love to. Over probably after 4 years, I think we came up with fairly clear structures that I can see how my 200 students, choosing their path, put this way. So some students really interested in, art. So they would opt into modules such as museums, galleries. These are their great, favorite options. And because we are creative and the cultural entrepreneurship department, so I have quite a lot of students opt into entrepreneurial type of, modules that to really train and then, have a sort of train their mindset being entrepreneurial thinking. Or if they're interested to become entrepreneur, there's a module to help them to see, how you can transform your mindset from A to B to prepare them. And of course, I have a large number of students who aiming for that. I just want to become the future manager of a luxury brand. So we actually offer modules from different department institutes of management studies. So they offer modules such as consumer behavior, consumer psychology, project management, marketing, all these modules. So students can choose that. And then we actually uniquely position ourselves with another path, which is the tourism. So I always say we have some really good academics in this country who dedicate tourism studies, and they happen to teach in our department, and they can give a different layer, flavor of luxury. So that's why I have a student coming from hospitality background. They want to know how tourism and luxury can combine together. And of course, students tend to be mix and match all this. So now is the time we are seeing our students completing their dissertation, and it's really fascinating and rewarding to see all sorts of subjects they're actually going to write. So this is how our program actually structured within Goldsmiths.
And something came on my mind whilst you were talking, and I like noticed the importance of entrepreneurial studies. I mean, at a certain point, luxury could not have been something of an entrepreneurial mindset, It was like a big fashion house, a big couture house. It's there. You either get in or you don't. And now we're like training future generations to start their own luxury businesses. And maybe in 20 or 50 years, they will be the next big brand. But this is really important. I mean, are students coming more and more with this mindset, or have you found this gap on the market and said, I wanna invest in it. I want to really capture all of these students who have this interest.
Yeah, and also even in a big luxury house, we use a slightly different words, which is entrepreneurship. Sometimes I think even within a big luxury house, you need to have a bit entrepreneurial spirit. Otherwise, there's no creativity. So we encourage this kind of a spirit and again, mentality to be in a big house and to always innovate and encourage the team. So yes, we are facing a very different generation, and something that I can see. The other day I said that my student's going to be born after 2000. That's something really I don't want to think about it, don't want to compare the age, but that's the reality, that's the future. We are certainly different compared with other generations. So there's a need of keep this kind of innovation and entrepreneurial spirit, and there's a demand of that. So that's why we offer these options.
Right. Okay, thank you for that. Now, many people who started working in luxury might have found their way maybe a couple of decades ago after graduating from school. They found a maybe sales assistant position at the time, and they started growing or climbing like these positions in a luxury brand. Do you believe that if a student who doesn't have really lots of luxury professional background and who comes to university and learns about luxury brand management, would this student be of equivalent, if I want to use the term, valuable professional value as opposed to someone who took the time to learn the trade just by being on the floor or on the market?
Well, I know because a few years ago I was actually in the luxury recruitment industry for a very short period of time, and even then, well, even now, to be very honest, I don't see a luxury company would put a specific requirement, you must be educated within a luxury program. I don't think. But I have to say, in the luxury industry, every single professional, no matter at what level, they should have some grassroots experience. That's very, very essential. And, in Europe, yes, I do believe that there are many luxury professionals being worked years, and then step by step they come into a level. But then if we look at the emerging luxury market, they didn't have the luxury to have all this, generation of luxury professionals. So they needed these tenants to be the now and the future major working force for the luxury brands.
Right.
So that's why different markets would have a different demand for luxury tenant. But then for me, even I had one student's parent came to me a few years ago to my office, say, Kelly, I'm sure my child is really likes you, but now she just loves to working on the shop floor. But we both are university professors. We don't want our daughter to be in the future on the shop floor as a salesperson. I said that I think there's a first of all, obviously it's not a European parent. There's a kind of different cultural perception towards people who are working on the shop floor. But also I said that if she is really interested in building a career in the luxury industry, and
this is the way it should be done.
This is some inevitable experience she must have.
Right.
And so of course the parent would take the academics was more serious, so she allowed the student to stay on the shop for a little bit longer. But I always say, no matter what you're aiming for in the future, if you never had any shop floor experience, and that's the first step you must take, no matter which market you're going to be in the future. So I don't think the education and experience a conflict with each other, but it's important to complement with each other.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, this was like the second question I wanted to attend to. The fact that a student might have graduated from a luxury brand management program does not make him a good manager unless he starts like training from the bottom up to understand all of the levels of luxury. And I believe it applies in most of retail businesses and most of retail jobs. This contact starting from the floor or even from the stock room up until management is really important. And it's not something to be ashamed of. But as you said, culturally, sometimes it might be perceived as like the job not to do and the job to do, right?
Indeed, and I work on the shop floor. Even after I worked many years, I had a PhD, and I was on the shop floor sometimes dealing with a difficult situation. I asked myself, why I'm doing this? But then, when you lecture on client relationship, that all makes sense. But if you never had experience in that, you can't describe the theory and to make it more practical, understandable to the student why client relationship is so important.
Right.
But I think one thing what the luxury program can give the student is probably the way that they can build a network. I mean, luxury industry, we from the outside you see it generate a lot of wealth and then draw a lot of wealthy people, and it's all about profit. But then people who working in this industry actually all connected internationally. There's a very fairly small network, to be honest. So that's why I say students come into luxury program, they will be able to have the opportunity to connect with the industry professionals, at the same time building their own younger generation network. In 5-10 years time, they will be networked to each other if they all work in the same industry. So that's something really important for young and junior and fresh professional who want to get into the luxury industry.
Right. And it's really important, like the mindset of being very realistic in this industry and not having this concept of like graduating and tomorrow finding the top managerial position, even though the label of our studies is that of luxury.
Mm.
Some luxury brand employees demand hiring individuals who have today studied brand management, luxury brand management.
Mm.
And I had a couple of experiences lately with that, even amongst colleagues and peers. If we together could talk today that it's really important to have like a cross-disciplinary or even like different retail environments synthesizing or criticizing one and the other, it would give lots of richness, right? And some others still say that if you haven't worked with luxury brands, then you cannot comment to students who are studying luxury. So, do you believe that this is the right way to do it? Do you believe that when we're teaching luxury, we should only commit ourselves to working on cases related to luxury brands? Or do we still have to encourage our students to look at different disciplines and different retail levels to see what rooms are there to improve their ways of management, maybe?
Well, I do think, I mean, during my way of teaching, I never say to students, no, you shouldn't do that. I always say you should try and try to explore and connect with luxury. I mean, there was a time that I heard the same kind of comment that luxury should use completely different principles, but I would say business principles all there. They are there.
Mm-hmm.
But the difficult for luxury brand is luxury brand has a tangible values and intangible values.
Yes.
And for many, majority mass brands, the business principle probably come out in terms of they, you can almost like a manual. You use this a set of business manual you apply to a brand and it works or not working. But for luxury brand, because they have so many permutation of different values embedded within the brand, so sometimes you do need to take the input from other disciplines or knowledge from even unrelated to luxury brand to create this specific value or to demonstrate this specific value for this specific brand at a certain time.
Yeah.
That's what I say the challenge of managing a luxury brand. We even after studying luxury brand in the future you start to implement all this. That's the challenge, that components are all there, but you have to learn to use the skills to assemble this component to form a specific tool, then to use this tool to this specific brand at this specific time. You cannot repeat it. And if this tool being stolen or borrowed by someone, you must have the skill to
Readjust.
another tool. So
Yeah.
that's the challenge for luxury brand, and that's why it's different from mainstream brand or other type of mainstream principles. So the fundamentals are all the same, but then there's needs a bit kind of a skills, and then again the mind and the capability to mobilize all these components. And that's
Right.
probably the program. Within our program we try to give to our students, or try to give them the way that they, even after living us, they can continue nurture this type of capability. So that's what we're trying to do here.
Right. So looking at assembling all of these dimensions that one could learn and creating your proper brand value, and revisiting this value at each time to make sure that it is integral and maybe uncopied, if we're using the term uncopied, and that it would always make sense. I mean, last time we were doing a chat with a friend who works on luxury brand heritage, and she really highlighted this term, creating a brand aura, and respecting it. So as if we are always assembling all of these elements, as you put it, to create that beautiful brand aura in the luxury sense. So this is really something to highlight. And if we always go back to students and teaching and choosing all of these programs, we need to have someone who really respects this method and this way of delivery. If I may ask, how is the program delivered? Is it like a conversational style teaching program? Is it like based on case studies? Is it like academic and theory in one hand and then application or in the other? Or how do you deliver knowledge in this program?
Right. This is I can speak as academic. It's about the pedagogy. I know that question. I think Goldsmiths, we do have you know, a variety of ways of delivering a program, but then certainly in this program, I say both theory and practice is so important, because I was in the industry and I am in academics. So I would say lectures is, of course, the main channel to deliver the theory and knowledge. Then we do seminars, and we have so many high level for guest lectures from the industry practitioners, many of them holding very senior positions. And we organize students into group work to make them to feel they replicate their real life, you know, group work.
Yeah.
Most important, I think that's probably unique for us, is no matter how many students we have, we manage to deliver this one-to-one tutorials. Because I do believe that each individual student in my class are completely unique person. So they deserve some unique attention to really focus on their own specific niche interest. And that's why I told them to come to study with us. So we have to deliver. So through the year, our students would have many opportunities to meet different tutors, talk about their studies, sometimes talk about their life and business. So these are the great, and of course, doing a master's degree, you know, at University of London, you need to do the readings and complete the coursework, sometimes sit the exams, and there will be some of the modules will offer, you know, visit to galleries, museums, and sometimes, you know, students will go find them, organize their own trip to different places. So it's a variety of mix of activities to engage with our students. So certainly very busy. I remember one of my first year students, when she finished, she gave me that picture. She, on the one side is it says, "This is how other people thought I studied luxury brand management," which is a girl holding a lot of shopping bags around in London. And on the right, that was, "This is in reality how I study luxury brand," which is computer, papers, books, and sitting there. So I would say, yes, it's mixed, but majority you are student, you're doing a program, a master program. So there will be a lot of, you know, hard work, but it will pay off. I mean, a lot of students now in their dream jobs, which is great. That's what I would love to see.
Right. I love the idea of this picture. So true, really, between the perception of things and reality of things. And it's a nice way how she portrayed it. And she framed it.
I used to every year after that to show my new student this is a reality. That could be a dream, you know. But yeah, it's a funny way to complete her degree. So she said she gave me that.
Right. And this would lead us, I mean, to like the last set of questions that I wanted to ask you. So now that we have like done the round about the importance of the academic side of luxury brand management and the professional side, what is the added value of a student choosing Goldsmith and its program? I mean, like in a couple of words to do a small resume about everything that we have talked about.
Sure. I think, first of all, Goldsmiths University of London is one of the top university in many subjects in art and medium studies. And I think a degree from University of London does have credit, give students a credit when they apply for future jobs, especially the first job. Secondly, I would say I wouldn't want to put myself into the center, but again, because the network or the networking mentality we help our students to form, and I think the kind of having this opportunity to be able to connect with the industry as well as with many excellent academics, that give them both side of the knowledge and the opportunity to thrive. Yes, and of course, London is the center of luxury. One of the center in luxury. So during the normal time, indeed, it gives students the immersive experience to really go to learn or to experience, to see how luxury really present in front of them. So adding all this multidisciplinary individual attention, I think the overall experience study with us is not just a study a program, but it's a 1 year that you can grow, you can develop, and you can really even reflect. If you're a professional, you can reflect and plan ahead what you're going to develop for your future career in the luxury industry. So,
right. And I believe, Kelly, that your professional experience that preceded your academic experience and then your in-depth academic experience also helped you, I believe, conceive the program with this openness between the professional aspect and the academic aspect and the importance of both, right?
I love thank you. And I think
I'm thinking about it, and it makes a lot of sense now.
it's because when I was in the industry, I mean, I needed the opportunity to study. I needed the opportunity of job. So I put myself sometimes in that position. I understand how my students feel. So to reverse the position, that when they wish for that, when they expect more, that's all makes sense. But then, of course, sometimes you also learn to build this, individual or this rapport with your student. And most important, in the luxury industry, you have to have a skill to communicate in the most optimal and efficient way. So
yeah,
this is some of the intangible probably skills, and then the softer skills that many luxury brands would require for their future employees. So I think there are a lot of attributes that probably the Goldsmiths program uniquely stand there.
perfect. And if we can highlight some major qualities which students will be equipped with after the graduation. We talked a lot about what the university would provide. And let's say the student immerses himself throughout the year in that program. And now he's done. What are the qualities that he could put on the market once he had graduated?
Right. I think the first quality would very much related to the academic learning is, I say, the critical thinking, the ability to be critically evaluate or reflect on something. And that's further enhance their creativity. That, because they open their eyes towards different dimension of the luxury. So when they come to luxury brand, their view not just stay as a consumer perspective. They will look at from different. And then the third one would be, I would say, that's the communication skills, the soft skill that they really learn how to talk, speak, communicate as a luxury potential professional. The last one, which I think is really important, is many of the students actually got this type of spirit of being very resilient. And because the program is quite demanding, so they have to discipline themselves through 1 year, very short period of time, to complete many modules and doing a lot of work. So discipline themselves, and most important, resiliently to solve a lot of problems, whether it's study or life. And I think that all this adding up will make them really, competitive when they come in, when they become a professional. Especially in this year and last year's student during the pandemic, I would say this is the life experience never ever forget. And I think they will be always valued, in 5-10 years time when they look back.
Thank you. That is really beautiful, the way you put it. And sometimes we wish our choices have been guided through programs that are like built in this qualitative way, and with such an eye on the person and the learning process at the same time. So let's talk about program specifics. Let's say I'm a student and I want to inquire about the program. So give us some specifics, like for local students, international students, who can and how can they apply? If we can talk a little bit about fees, if there are fees, and when do we need to apply to start like during the academic year or so?
Sure. From 2019, I changed the recruitment procedure. So we student apply online first, and then after the admission officer had the first round scan, and I will review the profile again. Then I would invite every individual student for a face-to-face interview. So over 2 years, I probably speak to 500 students on face-to-face.
Okay.
So in a way that actually the building the rapport, whether we offer them position, whether they decide to come to study with us, I would already have an idea that why the student, first of all, I need to understand why she or he would like to study with us. That's very important. If someone just comes say, I just feel luxury is a glamorous place to work for, or I probably will have a second thought. But if one coming from, say, from a finance background, but coming to me saying, I feel I have the skill to engage with, or to really change the future landscape for the luxury market in my home country for the reason 1, 2, 3, 4, and I probably would really love that type of or give the opportunity to that type of candidate. So I would say I open my door, because luxury industry is a very welcoming industry. They open door to everyone. So I open my door to every single person, providing you could first on paper convince me why you are a suitable candidate for this program. And indeed, we from this year, I think we have only the difference between UK student and non-UK students. So the rest are all international students. I don't actually have a specific requirement on students where they come from, as long as again they convince me on paper they want to learn. And also in terms of whether I do have a lot of students who freshly graduate from undergraduate. I also have a student who already worked many years. The purpose of coming to us is different. And in terms of the fees, I think the home fee and the international fee does have a difference, a big difference. But each year the fee structure the slightly different. I would actually recommend to come to our website, which is maybe I can type on here, can I?
Yes, I think in the comment section, I believe that you can type it.
Go
if you want to also.
UK and coming to our department website, and then you will find the luxury program and all the information's down there. And I mean, our admission teams are very responsive, and we often have inquiries coming into my inbox. I'm always happy to connect you on LinkedIn. But and so I even have inquiry from students' parents on LinkedIn asking that. So
yeah.
I love that, but as long as I time permits, I always would like to respond to any inquiry you may have. But most important is the offer can be only made after you had a one-to-one, face-to-face interview with me. So then we will out. Right, this is the right program for you, and you're the right candidate for me, then we can have an offer to be issued. So that's the way that probably for both parties, for both sides, is beneficial, I think.
And if I may ask, Kelly, how many students are recruited every year? Are there like big groups, or do you restrict the number of students to a required average?
Well, I mean, the program is getting more and more and more popular each year after year. So we do have a lot of applications. In a way, I mean, we try to give as many position offer to students, but because we have all this one-to-one, individual type of learning, so we try to manage the number in a manageable way. But each year is also for academic, for department, is also like a gambling game, because students have a different choices. Sometimes we'll give they can choose other students universities, so it's very difficult to give an exact number.
Okay.
Keep it secret because I don't know.
Okay.
But then over the last 4 years, we managed to have 200 students, just over 200 students study with us.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
It's really overwhelming. But as you said, it says all about the program's popularity, and that people really want to come and take part of this experience.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we didn't talk about today, or did we do the round really about the program, the constitution of the program, and the delivery, etc.? Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Actually, I was wondering whether there's any questions from the audience. I think we covered many things. I definitely talk more in many of our open evenings. Thank you for the ghalia also.
Thank you, Kelly. Now, I don't have any appearing ones, but however, most of the times, if people want to ask questions, they might feel more comfortable doing so directly with you. So as long as the conversation is maybe like more private, it's up to the audience. I will be sharing this video directly on IGTV as soon as we're done, and later on YouTube, so everyone could get a chance to connect directly with you and have like more information about the program.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah.
Again, as I say, luxury industry is a network place. So feel free to connect me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to communicate with you on message, or sometimes I might be slow, but I will try to accommodate your inquiry as many and as quick as possible. So yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, for all the info, and hopefully we meet up again and soon on other topics related to luxury and luxury brand management. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck with the new session coming up this year. And I hope that the students will be as inspiring as they were
Oh, thank
for
you.
the past years.
It's lovely to talk with you, and we will speak soon. I will in touch soon, definitely.
Okay, thank you so much and have a nice evening.
You too.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye bye.